Good morning. Today we're going to be making some great changes to our cathedral. So as I crack open this can of White Monster, welcome back to MorningCraft. That's pretty good. Right, so Cathedral, probably the best thing in the city of Thuldrim, which we're back in today, but there are a few things that I look at it as a Londoner and I see, and I'm like, it's not quite right, not quite there yet. So we're going to be making a few smaller changes. One of the first things that I notice is that we're missing a clock. This tower is pretty cool and pretty blocky, but it's a little bit too blocky, and it should have a cool clock face on it. And then we have these walls on the side which are completely blank. And if you've seen this building in real life, you'll know that it's so detailed and intricate that a blank wall would simply never happen. So I went ahead and got started on this tower. I added in these clock faces and a few more statues, as well as a few more details to make it a little less blocky. I used some lovely copper bulbs to get these clock faces, and I think they look a little bit better than just not having the clocks at all. When we compare these two towers, you can see the little bits of extra detail I've added to the tower. And we're going to have to copy that across to the other side so that these are nice and uniform. But it's just these little changes to the build we're going to be making today. And then we'll come to the dome of this build and maybe make a few bigger changes. So I copied across the design and I think it looks a little bit better, but it's kind of hard to notice. But I did change these clock faces to be a little bit more bold, like the real world equivalent. It's only these two on this corner, and all the others are still going to be just the same. It looks kind of weird, but at the same time, it's kind of interesting. But I felt like I needed to add a few more details on the front of the building. Just ignore this sheep playing around with the pressure plates. Seriously, what is he doing? He's kind of got aura though, like he's in like the best part of the city. Staring at the sunset, huge castle, huge cathedral, and he kind of struts with it too, and then he teleports away. You can see I added a few more coral fans just to add that little bit of extra detail to the front of the building. And overall, I was pretty happy with the front. So let's fix up some of the sides, and then we'll get to the main dome. Still on the fence about the clock face. Also added some statues on top of the towers, which is kind of annoying because they don't shine the same way that the blocks do. And they also disappear out of existence if I'm not standing close enough. It's kind of like banners. In some sense they look great, but then when you move the camera away and they like pop out of existence, that doesn't look too good. But what does look good is this new side wall. I've added some extra details to it, so we no longer have a blank wall. It's pretty much the same design as we have above, but then I've copied it and raised it, and I did it to this wall too. And now our cathedral is looking a ton more detailed. We've got a few more blank walls to fix, and then we'll be on to the dome. And so I fixed up those final walls, and I was pretty happy with the work I'd done. But now it's time for some major changes to the dome of the cathedral. It's definitely the most iconic part of St. Paul's Cathedral, so I had to make sure it was just right. So let's get to work. I added in some walls, and I added these between the blocks, which just gives it a nicer, smoother circle. With a nicer, smoother circle, it feels a little bit more realistic, but there was still more to do. I improved the archways and pillars going around the edge. I switched the blocky sandstone out for sandstone walls and added a little bit of quartz, just for a pop of detail. And with all of these changes, the cathedral was looking a ton better. I added some extra detail to the dome by using polished andesite strips leading down from the centre. But when I was looking at reference images, I realised it was a little bit too short, and so I improved it by making it a tad taller. So there we have it, an improved cathedral with a few extra details. But something didn't feel right. I'm a Londoner, I've lived in London my whole life. So of course I knew what was missing. The rain. It's never sunny, come on. If it's not raining, it's just not realistic. Much better.
The night of the contest was here. Victor Armstrong and Earl Stonehelm stood in the arena, ready to battle. All interested parties gathered around as these two claimants prepared to do battle for Thaldrim. The men began to whittle away at each other until eventually Victor Armstrong was able to disarm the Earl's mace. But as he did, the Earl was able to lever away Victor's shield. With one shield guarding and another bludgeoning, the Earl was able to force Victor onto a ledge and eventually onto one of the chains that held the arena in place. Victor's sword had fallen into the pit, and his wife was forced to watch as he slowly lost his footing. As the great Viking fell into the depths, all of Thaldrim fell silent. The excitement and tension was gone, and the regret and doubt that would have been owed with the loss of either of these great men began to set in.
Back from that story segment. Hope you're having a good day, or at least a good morning. I've been just super busy, so I've been a little bit more chill with my videos. Didn't want to narrate a couple of them, so I did like poems and things like that. But I thought I'd make a very relaxed, very normal episode for today. And what better way to do that than a cathedral, since that's basically the trademark of the channel. Either way, I hope you have a really good day, and I'll see you next time on MorningCraft.